Okay, so if you don't know how to wire these things here, relays, you're going to be pretty stuck when it comes to control panels, controls, automation. Also, these things here, contactors and overload relays. These are critical things that need to be understood in terms of the wiring when dealing with controls, automation, BMS. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to wire relays, how to wire contactors, and how to wire overload relays. Okay guys, so before we jump into the time lapse, just wanted to show you what I'm using to distribute constant 24 volt AC to various relays that need it. It's the same thing with the 0 volts as well to the A2 side of the coil. I use these as well. And again, WAGO is what's great about WAGO. They produce these jumper bars that just make it so easy just to distribute those voltages across relays without having to do additional wiring. So yes, it's extra cost in terms of hardware, but you save that in labor time, like 10 times over, I would say. So just before we start, I've jumped forward a little bit on this time lapse, forgot to press play. So I just want to show you what I'm doing. So at the moment, I'm just supplying all the relays with the constant 24 volt AC supply coming from these blocks down here. So as you can see, 24 volt AC, all these 100 circuits, they're being spread across the relays that need them, something like that. And as you can see here, as I mentioned, I'm having to expand those blocks immediately. So yeah, just adding additional circuits to those relays. I think this might be one of a 200 circuit possibly. Yeah, so 200 circuit. So again, if you look at the drawing, there's the 200 circuit, which is supplied from one single relay. So if that single relay is energized, then we then need to supply power to a load of other relays. And the best way to do that is just through a distribution terminal block or bar. And that's what I've done here. So you can see 200 circuit here. So that's where we're at on the time lapse at the moment. And what we've also skipped over is the 10 volt DC feed and 0 volt feed from the power supply. So yeah, as you can see here, the 128 circuit, 168 circuit going in here, that's the 0 volts, 168. And then the 167 circuit coming out the 10 volt side into the 10 volt DC distribution blocks. And then what you'll see now is I'm now distributing those 0 volts and 10 volts to a couple of the relays that are switching that boiler control constantly on or constantly off, or constantly on to like 10 volts, or switching it to then be controlled automatically from the PLC, varying that 10 volts. So that's what you can see here. So yeah, this next stage, guys, I'm now doing the 0 volts to the A2 side of the coil on these relays. And you just saw there that I added those bridging connectors, and now I'm just adding those cables, distributing that 0 volts from the transformer. So yeah, as you can see, guys, the 24 volt AC constant supplies, they're 100 circuits, and they're feeding one side of the contactors because it's double pole, so feeding one pole of those contacts. We've got the 200 circuit, which is originally being fed from one relay, which is this one here. So it's being fed by a 100 circuit. And then once that's energized, then sends 200 out, and then we want to distribute that 200 across these relays. There's only 2 of them at the moment, 2 relays there. We've obviously got our 0 volts AC, which is being distributed here, and we've got jumper bars, and then similar thing with the 10 volts and the 0 volts of that 10 volts. They're being distributed here and here. So another angle here, guys. And again, more angles. You can see those jumper bars. Okay guys, so on to wiring the contactors and overloads, and this is a bit of a tricky one to talk through in detail from just this overview. But as you can see, starting off with the neutrals and the supplies from the MCBs, and these are going through the contactors. Then the overloads are connected to the contactors, and then they will then come out the end of the overload and then go off to the terminal blocks to run pumps, fans, motors, whatever it might be. Pumps in this case. And yeah, you can just see with the neutral, I'm just distributing it, going in here, double ferrule out to the next one. And it's important with these overloads that the full load current goes through all of the terminals on the overload. So if it's single phase, you've got to loop it back round so it goes through all 3 phases, which will enable it to trip correctly. This bit I'm just wiring out of one side of the normally closed contact into A1. So that's how you correctly wire an overload relay. It needs to go through the normally closed contact of the overload into the coil A1 terminal of the contactor. So if that trips out, it then cuts out the power going to the coil energizing the contactor. That's really important that you understand that, because I've seen many times people wiring them incorrectly and it can cause major issues, pumps overloading, overheating, potential fires, etc. So it's important you know how to wire these correctly. And then on the normally open side of the contact on the overload, that will then be going to a relay, energizing that relay, and then we've got 2-pole relays, so one will be going off to a light to say that it's tripped, and the other side will be going to the PLC to let us know remotely that it's tripped. Or we can program anything else we want off the back of that input. So yeah, quick overview from this image. So like I said, you've got the single phase coming in on L2, going out and then back around into L1. You've got neutral just on L3. This isn't wired yet because it's going off to the terminal blocks. That's something we do later. So that will then be coming out of T1 off to the terminal block, and then similar with the neutral, out of T3 off to the terminal block. So that's the power going to the pump. We've got our normally closed contacts here. So we'd have a supply of, in this case, 24 volts AC. I've not done that yet because that's coming from the door. That'll be coming in here, normally closed, out on 96, cable 177, which you can see loops round to here, A1. So when that's in a good condition, that's closed, things haven't tripped, everything's healthy, power can pass through that and into A1, energizing this contact, and this is obviously going to 0 volts on A2. If that trips out, if it overloads, depending on what we've got it set to here on this dial, that then opens, that goes open circuit, which cuts the power to this contactor, which in turn cuts the power, or the power stays here, but it cuts the power on this other side, going off to those terminal blocks and off to the pump in the field. And then on the normally open contacts here, which are normally open in a healthy condition, when that does trip, they will then close, and then that will be going off to our relay, which will energize, and then we can have various things happening off that relay. In this case, we've got it energizing a light on the front of the panel for a visual representation, and then also with a different voltage going into the PLC to let us know and send a push notification, an email, text message, or we can just program something off the back of that input telling us that this pump has tripped out.